And 50-50 is I'm not going to be vulnerable enough to trust you
to be in control
with 100% of anything. Not my heart, not my cash, not my,
this shit goes deep.
My energy. And when I started to really address that, and I was like, do you want to pay the whole mortgage? I thought I was about to die. Not like I have to ask for help from a therapist, but, I famously said 50-50 or bust, right? And, and I meant that in every financially, spiritually, emotionally. And there's just a lot of days that I have 10% and I need him to be 90. There's days I don't have shit and I need him to be 100. And I realized that so much of, my anxiety, I was diagnosed with PTSD after being sexually assaulted at 19. The extreme anxiety, the anxiety attacks, the being hyper-focused on efficiency and time and being fiercely independent are trauma responses. And when I started to really unpack that, a couple years ago, I was a part of my girlfriend Octavia Spencer's show, Truth Be Told, and it was about girls in the Bay Area where I was, Black girls, brown girls in the Bay going through this. And there was the culmination was on the courthouse steps of the Alameda County Courthouse, the same courthouse I testified in front of the grand jury. And something in me broke, completely just broke. And I'm not even one of those people who can cry on cue, child. I'm like, bring in the menthol. But something in me broke. And it felt wild. I am a very controlled person. And I was going home every day crying to my husband. And he's like, who is this person? And I was remembering smells, sounds, feelings that my brain, thank God, had blocked out for, it was 92. So how many years is that? It's going to be 33 years. Had blocked out. And it came back in a whoosh. And
now, I've done content on Gabrielle Union before, and I've been extremely critical of those 50-50 comments, extremely critical of this kind of boss bee, independence, don't need no man attitude. But I've said it once and I'll say it again, and I will continue on saying it before. The majority of women that ride with those monikers as if they are a badge of honor are suffering through some type or sort of trauma response. It's happened time and time and time again. And at this point, I begin to feel bad because, right, like I'll do content on these women knowing that behind all of their roughness and hardness and all this other bullshit is actually some person stuck within a thing that happened within their life years before that they haven't gotten healing or helping for. But now, after all of these years and also involving herself within an environment and it being Holly weird that stands up for what essentially is a trauma response. I mean, shit, if you go off of the basis of the things that she's saying, the whole goddamn feminist movement, at least at this junction, fourth wave, is a goddamn trauma response. But these women chock full of this trauma, right? Like some of it's just made up from other stories that they've heard or believing that they're within a patriarchy or believing that they're getting their rights currently in modern times taken away. But either through real and or manufactured trauma, they will trauma bond, upheld by women that seek solace in trauma bonding and supplanted by women and an industry that makes money off of that trauma. This shit goes deep to the extent of being married and claiming all of this bullshit. And then without fail, they'll come back later in their 50s talking about that the things that they outwardly said had nothing to do with what they really wanted, but had to do with a trauma response.
I realized so much more about myself and what I survived and the power of your brain and the power of your body. But I was ready to finally deal with all of it and start the work on releasing the new things that came up. But part of that work that I'm still working on is that trauma response. Timing myself doing the dishes, like timing everything. And when people are late, it's rude, but it makes me feel like you hate me, that you want something terrible to happen to me. It's not just, you got caught in traffic. It's you want something terrible to happen to me.
Stop it. Get some help.
Because as long as I can control time, as long as, as my brain is constantly moving and I'm thinking of every scenario, and people are like, oh, you're so quick-witted. I'm like, no, I thought about this question a billion times. It's a trauma response. It's never wanting to be out of control. I don't have control over what is happening to my body.
This shit goes deep, baby.
And 50-50 is I'm not going to be vulnerable enough to trust you
to be in control
with 100% of anything. Not my heart, not my cash, not my,
this shit goes deep.
My energy. And when I started to really address that, and I was like, do you want to pay the whole mortgage? I thought I was about to die. I had such anxiety. Like, I was crying, I was shaking.
Wow.
And he was like, yeah, you insisted on that. He's like, I thought it made you feel better. I'm like, it did. And right now I want to take it back, but let's just try for a month.
Wow.
And I was like, I couldn't, it felt like there was something blocking in my, from even swallowing or breathing. It felt crazy.
First off, it is odd to me that they have a mortgage. I mean, Dwayne, what you doing over there, baby? You worth like $200 million. What's going on? Secondly, this goes to the 25 and a half MTRs that are currently watching me right now. Many women don't have the facial aesthetics and or symmetry as well as visibility of a Gabrielle Union. So it's okay for her to figure this shit out at 50-something years old. She already got married. But for many women, y'all do not have this damn long. Trust me when I say this, because you're giving away your best years by not addressing your shit, living out in the streets, repulsed by the idea of cooperation with a man. The trauma response to feeling out of control means that she wants to control everything. This is not within the natural order. She is not helping her husband meet a damn thing other than wanting to be and looking like a power couple. And you mix that control with the perversion of Holly Weird stirred up in a little pot. And I wonder, what are the things that you get? Men be in control of your households, as it's going to bring our society back to the natural order. You cannot let emotionality mixed with trauma control your households. This is how you get happy wife, happy life. And then you'll get at the tender age of 50, now that it's convenient, to walk back on the feminist ideals that you preached for the majority of your life. Finally realizing that you striving for equality or 50-50 is a trauma response.
Now it sounds crazy to be like, you, Mr. NBA superstar, who made a bazillion more amount of money than I do, can pay the mortgage, because I hate the feeling of releasing that to someone. And you release that to someone, chaos can happen. And so these are baby steps. Now, did I settle on about 35% of the more, instead of 50? Sure. But, I'm trying to, okay, you got it. And it's brought us closer, because he knows it's not about whether he can afford it. It's being vulnerable enough to be open enough
and you're being
to know that I'm okay. I'm okay as his wife. I'm okay. He's okay as my husband. I'm okay in this family. I'm okay in this home. I deserve it. And I'm okay.
Yet again, yet another clip that demonstrates the clear difference on men and women and how we're handling different situations. Because if we're watching a man say here that they're suffering from a trauma from 30 years ago, and because of that, he's unable to pay for his family bills, he will be criticized for being a dusty bum into infamy. But enough of that equality talk. All jokes aside, I'm glad that at least at 50-something, she's up here speaking about this, because I do think that it will benefit relationships going into the future now that she has officially identified where her thoughts, feelings, perceptions, ideologies, and comments and behavior was coming from. But at the end of the day, she is an actress, so who knows? Questions, comments, concerns. Y'all already know what to do. MediocreTourismReviews@gmail.com. Guys, leave me your comments down below. What is it that you think about the content that I put before you? here today. Last but not least, my G's, join my men's self-development community, especially if you have a focus in financial fitness and education and wealth building going into the future. Click the link down in the description box down below and get active with us. And last but not least, to all of the MTRs out there, I just reopened the entryway into the female-only Discord server. If interested, send me an email. There's a link somewhere in my description box. Send me an email with your picture and why you would want to be involved in a female-only community. And hopefully, we can get you up in there. Until next time, YouTube. Peace.
She belongs to the street.
Girl, don't hold my hand. You a mattress actress on the OnlyFans. Get your money, girl, but damn, how is that your only plan? What you gonna do when you get too old to strip and dance? Get up out your echo chamber screaming period and yes. You a low down dirty woman if you try to get knocked up by a high value man.